Aloha! And welcome to the Book Doctors
YouTube channel. We are live here from the Garden Island of Kauai at the Kauai Writers Conference.
We have Liz Rosner with us today.
Yes, we do.
Hi, everybody. To talk about what else but writing.
Writing, books, publishing, and life. Yes, life.
One of my favorite subjects.
Life?
Yeah.
One of Liz's favorite subjects. Ours too. We love life.
Yes.
Don't we? Generally speaking.
We do. And we were actually just talking about something that I think is a good starting
Segue
point for
right in.
writers,
Boom, boom,
which is
boom.
silence.
Oh,
And
gosh. Yeah.
quiet time
Yeah.
and removing oneself from everything else out there.
Yeah.
And anything to say about that?
Oh, I have a lot to say about that because I think that, well, at a conference, there's a lot of extra noise.
Yes.
There's a lot of information coming at you from the presenters, and people are really kind of hungry for material and content, and so they want to be in the mix of things. But I do know a number of people who, even at the conference, have found a way to retreat. And silence for me is quite possibly the only key ingredient for my writing to be possible in an environment. I can, so which is why I know other people go to cafes. That would be impossible.
She's
Same
the
with
same
me.
way. She
Same
can't
with
stand
me.
anything.
Yeah.
No music, no nothing.
No, I don't listen to music while I write either.
Yeah.
And I think part of it is I'm actually thinking about this a lot because the book I'm working on right now is about listening. And that is all I'm going to say about the book because it's so new. But the subject of listening, of course, for me, I am so tuning in all the time that if there's anything coming in, like music, a whole piece of my attention is going toward the music, even if it's instrumental.
Right.
It doesn't, like some people say, oh, I listen to music as long as there are no lyrics.
Right.
I need silence to write.
I just read a great Eudora Welty
I was just going to say Eudora Welty. Look
Yeah.
at
You guys
that.
are like in a mind
Look
meld,
at you.
right? Yeah.
And she
Such a great
she
quote.
was talking about how she used the phrase listening for
A story.
Listening for a story, and the image was of a child with the adults talking in the other room and listening for what they're saying.
That is my whole childhood. And it's so great because I'm not aware of that Eudora Welty. Thank you for that, because I do think about, now I am sort of talking about the book because there's listening in, there's listening with, there's listening to, there's listening for. I mean, and so the listening for, I really think that is a lot of where my material originally came from or comes from, but now I'm going inside to listen for it. I am listening for stuff I remember. I am listening for, my first novel was 3 alternating first-person voices, and I would wake up in the morning listening for which voice am I hearing? And then when that voice would sort of get quiet, is there another voice that's going to come in now, or do I have to wait and go take a walk? So silence for me is actually the richest pool, because then I go inside and listen for what's there.
Are you structuring the book around those?
I'm thinking of.
I think that's a.
Do you like that
I
idea?
love it.
Okay,
I think it's great.
No, because I've really been struggling with, the shape also, which is something that often comes late for me in the writing process. Is shape.
That comes first for me.
See,
Yes.
She's like a genius at structure.
So you love
I'm the
my
daughter
structure.
of an architect,
Yeah.
so that's how I
And an
think.
interior
So I
designer.
heard that, I was like, oh my god, that's the most brilliant structure.
Thank you.
She's so great at that.
No,
I'm
for somebody,
terrible.
I'm
I'm
taking
bad
that in
at it.
because for somebody who really understands the importance of it, I totally understand, and I think about it as architecture, but I need to produce and generate a lot of material first until I get to the point where I have like this pile of chaos.
Right.
And I can't stand it anymore.
Right.
Not knowing. And then I go, what is the architecture?
That's so interesting.
But I have been thinking that for a while. And then I sort of set it aside, but now that I'm talking about it, I'm thinking, yeah, I think that's probably going to be the way to go, because they're similar and different each of those.
And I haven't, before you said that, I never broke listening down into that.
Yeah, I never thought about that.
Just what you said.
Yes.
I will leave with that and have some, like, more of a repertoire.
Oh, I'm so glad.
So I think that's so meaningful, and of course for writers in particular, to think about that breakdown and how that applies to their writing.
Yeah. Well, even when I only say, people say, what are you working on now? And I'll say, I'm writing a book about listening. You know, like, just the word itself sort of alerts people to something, like to make conscious something that's slightly under awareness. It's just that the next thing people usually say is, oh yeah, we need a lot more of that. Or, you know, like, oh, we got a real problem with that. And there are other people taking that part on, I think, already, the critique of the lack of.
Yes.
And I don't want to keep going there. I feel like that's not going to be my contribution. I have something different to say than that.
Right.
Like the what's wrong conversation.
Right.
Well, we tell writers all the time that when you're not actually sitting writing, that instead of thinking about the endless things in our brain that we have no control over, like, why aren't I 6'2"?
I do think
about that too. I do. Like, why aren't I? My life would be so much better. Or the conversation you wish you'd had with some dreaded enemy, where you just get the zinger in there. That's what I think about. And now I've trained my brain. Stop that conversation and have some silence in my head. And think about. I train my brain to go onto my book when I'm writing a book, which is always. And think, like, what in that silence, that's when I get so many of the connections that I didn't realize between this character and this character. And how this segue will go into that segue, and the next scene that I'm going to write. So I will fantasize about it. What does it smell like? What does it look like? What do these people want that they can't say? So, and I come up with a first line. So by the time I'm ready to sit down again, I've got a first line, I've got a place, I've got some kind of sensory stuff going on. And so many times when people say, oh, I'm having a writer's block, I don't know what to write next, I say, look, use your time away from the keypad. Sit in silence. Think about the stuff that you want to write next and get your scene formulated. It's so much easier because the pump is already primed a little bit.
I would love to teach people to stop thinking about writer's block as if it's a thing. I actually prohibit myself from referencing when I'm not writing. I don't call it being blocked anymore. I used to, and it would just set off this spiraling, horrible feeling of guilt and shame and everything else. And now it's more like I have come to have more faith, not total faith, but more faith, that even when I'm not writing, I'm writing, because
what a lovely phrase.
I'm walking my dog, and some part of me is ruminating and reflecting and listening and absorbing, you know, like, oh, look at that negative space between those trunks of trees, like, they look like somebody who's bow-legged, you know, and then the next thing I know, I'm thinking about a bow-legged character, and so I find my way back in, and then I have to just trust that by the time I am really sitting down, really with my yellow pad and pen, or at the computer, it's not just priming the pump, I've already been writing. Like, I've already been composing something. And for me to keep saying that out loud is a reminder to myself, because I can't completely turn off that voice of, I'm joking, I don't wish I were 6'2", but I do wish I were 5'8". You know, and you know, like this weight, but 5 inches taller. You know, like,
wouldn't that be great?
I know, but really, those voices, I don't know that we ever fully eradicate those
No.
really old.
Yeah.
You know that joke about, your parents know how to push your buttons, they installed them.
Oh,
I
yeah,
never
that's
heard
good.
that. That's fantastic.
So
Yeah.
my mother's been dead for 20 years. Her voice is still in my head. Bless her, but a lot of criticism, a lot of, like she would literally critique my height as if that was something I could do
something about.
I could not make myself
that's
taller.
horrible.
So that kind of self-talk, it's there, but then it's my choosing to go, I am going to turn that off. I keep thinking about, can I say the F-bomb on here? Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so Anne Lamott, K-Fucked Radio,
Yeah,
is
yeah.
one of my favorite of her many pieces of wise advice. And that thing about K-Fucked Radio, if people don't know, K-Fucked Radio comes in on 2 channels, and one voice is saying, you are a gift and a genius, and people are waiting for you to finish this book so that they can buy it by the droves and worship you. And then the other voice is saying, you're a fraud and a faker, and people are laughing at you behind your back. You might as well quit now. You're a disaster. And part of us thinks we should just turn that voice off and just listen to the voice that's telling us how great we are. But actually, she says, turn off the radio. Turn off both of those voices. Because the so-called flattering voice is also causing you a lot of harm. And the fantasy is that, if people just told me how great I was, I'd be really, really able to be great. It's like, no, that actually gets in your way too.
That's great.
Well,
And that's again going back to, you need silence so you can hear what's inside. So it really, it's the full circle of that.
Circle of life. My wife will tell you that my K-pop radio doesn't have the voice that says how horrible you are. I feel that all the time deep inside of me. But the radio station in my head is exclusively.
I'm going to say,
Go ahead.
why isn't everyone recognizing my
Awesome,
incredible
I am.
genius? Okay. So,
Why are they beating down my door to give me money?
So the grandiosity,
Yes.
which I also have, but I'm oscillating between
I don't have the
grandiosity and
oscillation.
total humiliation and abnegation. And so and the joke for that, which comes from AA, they say, I'm the piece of shit at the center of the universe.
I love it.
That should be a T-shirt right there.
It probably is. It probably is.
Probably is
But this
somewhere.
idea that that why isn't everybody looking at me, and then why is everybody looking at me? And the torture involved. You're like a ping pong ball, and so really the grandiosity, I'm uncomfortable there.
Yeah.
So I immediately
Go to the other pole.
And really they're both not useful. This is like a little therapy session.
Well, it's not useful for me either, because I always assume things are ready before they're not, because they're going to be great, and I assume I have all these expectations that are inevitably dashed. It's just it's a terrible way to operate as a human.
I would like the takeaway here
Yeah.
to be, you're writing even when you're not writing.
Yeah, I love that.
I think that is a beautiful thing
fantastic.
to think about, and a wonderful piece of advice to all writers out there. Of course, all of this is incredibly valuable, but I think to take that out with you during the day is a beautiful
That's
thing.
like a little nugget of gold you can slip in your pocket.
So
I'm so
we want to
glad.
thank you so much.
It's my
This was
pleasure.
so fun, and we will
See you at the bookstore.
Thank you so much. That was so great.
Totally my
Oh my
pleasure.
gosh.
We can do it again anytime you want.
That was awesome.
Oh.
It's